Okay, welcome to the hands-on portion of the course. So before we get started, let's do some housekeeping. There's a couple of things that I want you to make changes to on the File Explorer. Now, some of this is personal preference, but some of it's just downright dangerous to not do it this way. You know, you guys are computer professionals. You ought not to have blinders on. There's no need for you to not see file name extensions. There's no need for you to not see programming, operating system files. Those are for grandma. You're not grandma. You're a professional. So we're going to make some changes here. So I'm going to go here to the view and go to options, and we're going to make a bunch of changes. First of all, I don't particularly like this stuff. That's personal preference. On the recently used things, it just clutters up my start menu. I don't want that. But for view, let's go through here. Do I want to see hidden files? Well, of course I want to see hidden files. Do I want to hide extensions? No. Do I want to hide operating systems? No. It even comes up and says, but wait. I say, well, bullshit. I still want to see them all. And then down here, I always have it expand to the folder and show all folders. That way, when I'm on the left-hand side of the File Explorer, I'll be able to see the entire tree view. Okay, cool. Now, it did throw some extra stuff in here we're going to have to do some housekeeping on. That's okay, fine. I'll just delete these guys because they were hidden before and now they're not. All right? The next thing we're going to do is, now that I got my machine kind of sort of the way I want it, I'm going to do a snapshot of the virtual machine. Now, snapshot and screenshot sound an awful lot alike, but they are not related in any way. Okay. So normally what you would do is you would shut the machine down completely from VirtualBox and then go in and do a snapshot. I'm not going to do that right this very second. And the reason is, if you make any changes, for example, if you do a live snapshot and then you change the amount of memory it's allocated to the machine, and then you fire it up a second time, the machine's going to say, whoa, I was expecting 4 gig and you only gave me 3, I'll quit. And it's out. So I always shut the machine down completely. That way, if you make hardware changes, like adding another CPU or adding some more RAM or more disk or whatever, when it wakes up, it's going to say, oh, I see everything. Okay, cool. So let's do that now. Okay, so mine is running. It's not the ideal, but I'm going to do it this way anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little guy here, and where it says snapshots. Then I'm going to do a take snapshot. And the idea is, if I blow the machine to smithereens, which has happened, I know I can get back to this state. In other words, I've already installed the operating system, I've already done the activation, I've already added myself, I've already logged in myself, I've already tweaked the Explorer, I've shut down the goofy server manager thing from reappearing, and I've got everything just the way I want it. So if I blow the machine up, I want to get back to today. So that's what this is all about. Okay. And now we're ready to actually start the part about creating a WinPE disk. Now, you probably have heard lots of places, like on the internet, where you can download a pre-boot execution environment disk. So we're not going to do that. We're going to build one from scratch. And the idea is that if you want to, particularly in server world, you may have a really bizarre, like, robot-controlled, tape deck kind of a thing, with very strange drivers that no one else on the planet's going to have. But if you build the PE disk on that machine, it's going to gather all of its drivers and put it on the disk so you don't have to worry about it. And in theory, what you could do, you could have a WinPE disk for Windows 10, a WinPE disk for Windows 11, a WinPE disk for Server 2022. That would be a smart thing to do. And in each case, you have to build the thing on the machine you're working on. Cool? Okay. So first thing we're going to do is going to go install some stuff. Okay, so we're just going to go up to the browser. We're going to type in Windows ADK. Windows ADK. And sure enough, there it all is, the Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit. So you should kind of make sure these things match. I mean, you could go through and look at the others. For example, Windows 11, and then it says for Server 2035 and Server 2022. So that's probably the one that we want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and download this guy, the ADK. That was quick. And I'm going to go ahead and download the PE add-on guy. Okay, cool. Okay, and the third thing we need is this patch. So I'm going to go ahead and get that guy going. And the instructions here are very strange. Basically, you just have to follow instructions. Okay, so I've got everything downloaded. I got the 3 things I want downloaded. I'm just going to go to my download guy. and hit these guys one at a time. So I'm going to do the setup first. That kind of makes sense, right? And I'm going to put it where it wants it. Great. No, I don't want to send any insights into Microsoft. Well, this is a test environment, right? You know, we're a school kind of a thing. We're not providing them any useful information. So I'm going to go ahead and say accept. And I'm going to just take the imaging and designer and I'm not going to do any of the rest of the stuff, taking the defaults. And this doesn't take very long to install. Okay, that was pretty easy. So next we're going to do the add-on. And again, I'm just going to take the default because I just want to put it where it wants it. Okay, this next step is a little complicated because the instructions are a bit sparse. I suspect they think, oh, you're a data professional, so we don't have to hold your hand. But yeah, the instructions are a little weird. Let me just tell you. Okay, so open a command prompt as administrator. I know how to do that. Well, let me go ahead and just type CMD. And run as administrator. Okay, cool. And then I'm not gonna, to prevent me from typing, I'm gonna light this up and paste it in there because I don't like to type. So this is gonna create a brand new folder. But where the heck is that folder? Well, we're gonna descend into that folder by doing a CD. Okay, so now we know where it is. It's in users, immigrate, app data, local temp. So the next step is I need to copy those files there. All right, so this is that zip file we downloaded. I need to grab these guys. I'm just going to put them in my copy. And then I need to go find that location. Now, if you have your machine set up the way I suggested, where you can actually see everything, well then yeah, you can go to app data, local temp, and you'll be able to find this guy. Otherwise, you might be a little hard-pressed to find the location where that temp drive is. Okay. So now I have that guy. I'm just going to do a dir just to confirm that they're there. And then I need to perform this step. And once again, I'm not going to, I hate typing, so I'm just going to light this guy up and put it in the paste buffer here and hit the button. And boink! Okay, it did whatever the heck it was supposed to do. Now we're ready to move on and actually do some work with the stuff we just downloaded. So in theory, everything is working. Let's give it a whirl. So we're going to open a command prompt, but not just a normal command prompt. We're going to open a special command prompt. So when you go here and go down here, so I'm not typing CMD down here. I'm doing this, okay? And do I need to do a right click and run as an administrator? Probably. Cool. All right, so now we're ready. Whew, that was an awful lot of effort. First thing we'll do is go create a playground where we're going to put our files. That's what's called copy PE, okay? And then basically you tell it what flavor. We're doing the AMD64 flavor. And then where are you going to put it? I'm going to put mine in WinPE AMD64 as a folder, okay? Cool. So I'm going to hit the button, and it says fail to stage. Oh, my thing already exists. All right, let me whack that. Give me a second. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start up this special environment. It's under Windows Kits, and it's Deployment Imaging Toolkit. I'm going to do a right click and say Run as Administrator. Okay, so now we're just going to create a playground where our stuff is going to go. It's called Copy PE, and the flavor AMD64. And then where you want to put it, well, I'm going to put mine in WinPE AMD64 as a folder. Okay, so it doesn't take very long to go ahead and create the thing. Just give it a second. Okay, it successfully built the stuff I need. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to use that information to build a boot media. Okay, so here's how it works. It's called make win PE media. Boy, you can tell I don't like typing. And it's going to be an ISO file that it's going to create. And then where's the files? Well, the files are in WinPE AMD64. And where do you want to put this ISO file? I'm going to go ahead and put it in the same folder. So WinPE AMD64.ISO. And now it's going to create an ISO file What? Did I misspell it? Yes, I misspelled it. Daggone it. If I could spell, this would go a heck of a lot faster, huh? Okay. And ta-da! We created an ISO file. But we're not done. We need to move it out of our target environment because we're going to boot this thing from inside VirtualBox. So it can't be inside our virtual machine. It has to be outside our virtual machine so VirtualBox can see it. That makes sense? Okay, cool. All right, so if you've done what I was expecting you to do from time before, you should have a drive Z out there already. If not, you could probably go to the network part. And if you have network discovery turned on, it'll take a second. But I'm gonna pretend like you don't have a drive Z, and eventually it'll come up and say, "Aha! I see that there's a thing out there." Well, eventually. Yay! And then it goes over and says, "So I already have mine. So I'm just gonna take my ISO file. Hey, I thought I told it to put in the folder. Oh well, I guess I didn't. So I'm just gonna grab the ISO file and just drag and drop him onto my guy. And so now what I've done is I've copied the ISO file back to my host machine because I'm going to need it on the host. Okay, is this making sense? All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.